attending Busan National University as a graduate student in computer engineering. I have lived in Korea for over 7 years and I even run my own business now, a company that is developing a platform based on artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. From my experience, I can say with an absolutely certainty that Busan was the best place for me to start my business, thanks to the specialized blockchain zone. In the past 7 years, Busan has become my second home and I obviously love it here. Global City Busan, we are in it together. This campaign was brought to you by BFM, 부산영어방송.
New season, new shows. BEFM's new season starts on September 9th. We have new voices coming your way.
From Monday through Sunday, every day from noon to 2 p.m. Join me, Nick Greenwood, for Midday Mates. Have some fun with your best mates in the afternoon with Midday Mates, filled with useful information and English learning.
Busan Ajime Park Sung-eun will be in charge of your daily English every day at 10:55 a.m. and 3:55 p.m. with Today's English. Tune in to BEFM News every day at 11 a.m., 12 noon, 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. with your trusty BEFM news announcers. The Chinese language program Busan is on Monday through Friday and Hello Vietnam on Saturdays and Sundays, both from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, filling the airwaves with great contents. Don't forget, you can watch all of this too on our YouTube channel, so be sure to catch us on YouTube. Mark your calendars for September 9th for BEFM's new season, dedicated to bringing you the most informative and entertaining programming as always.
The time is now 2 o'clock.
Welcome to BFM News at 2. I'm David Kim. A Unification Ministry official said today that there are no signs of North Korea preparing for a military parade ahead of its upcoming founding anniversary. North Korea will celebrate the 76th anniversary of its regime on Monday, sparking speculation about a possible parade or special event. The official speaking anonymously, noted that North Korea typically holds parades on significant anniversaries such as every 5th or 10th year. Last year, the country marked the 75th anniversary with a paramilitary parade featuring its reserve forces. A Seoul appeals court overturned a ruling against the South Korean victims of Japan's wartime forced labor, ordering Nishimatsu Construction to compensate 5 victims. The court ruled that their right to claim compensation had not expired, recognizing prior limitations on exercising their claims before a 2018 Supreme Court decision. South Korean diplomat Ri Dong-yeol urged NATO and Indo-Pacific nations to collaborate against rising cyber threats at the Cyber Champion Summit in Australia. He highlighted the need for international efforts to combat misinformation and strengthen digital solidarity. The summit, launched in Lithuania, includes key partners like South Korea, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand, with South Korea set to host next year. In local news, a ceremony to mark the 16th Resource Recycling Day will be held in Busan, where the final meeting for the drafting of an international treaty to end plastic pollution will also take place. The Ministry of Environment announced today that in partnership with Busan City, it will host the ceremony at Busan City Hall tomorrow. The theme of this year is End Plastic Pollution, Bye Bye Plastic. Ahead of the 5th Intergovernmental Negotiation Committee meeting on plastic pollution in Busan this November, the event aims to raise public awareness about reducing plastic waste and encourage participation in de-plastic initiatives. The city of Busan said today that it will host various events to mark the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies and promote carbon neutrality on September the 7th. The Blue Skies Day was established as the first United Nations commemorative day proposed by South Korea at the 2019 UN Climate Action Summit, to raise awareness about the importance of air quality and climate change. Busan designated the period from September the 1st to the 7th as Blue Skies Week and prepared various events, including a ceremony to promote eco-friendly living practices for improving air quality. The ceremony will take place in the large conference room in Busan City Hall this afternoon with the theme for clean air, starting with me, starting now. On Saturday, a climate experience event will be held at the Lawn Square of Busan Citizens Park in conjunction with the Cheonggun Busan Youth Cultural Event to commemorate Blue Skies Day. Busan's Namgu will run a climate environment experience class for children, and Bukgu will operate a promotional space at Bexco with climate interpreters participating. An event was held to discuss policy directions for Busan to become a carbon-neutral city responding to the climate crisis and fostering the climate tech industry. The 5th Busan Initiative Forum was held as a side event of the 2024 World Climate Industry Expo at Bexco today. Experts at the forum emphasized the innovative transformation of energy technology and industry under the theme of Busan as a global green growth city. In international news, the U.S. has charged and sanctioned Russian state media executives and imposed restrictions on Kremlin-affiliated broadcasters, accusing Moscow of trying to interfere in the presidential election. The Justice, State, and Treasury Departments announced joint measures on Wednesday local time to aggressively counter the alleged actions. And now taking a quick look at the weather here. It's currently 33 degrees Celsius in Busan City under clear skies. And that'll have to do it for this hour's news. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
Your best choice. BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
Coming up next is 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
Television used to be considered one of the lowest forms of entertainment. They actually used to call it the idiot box. I can still hear my grandpa saying that all the time. But a lot has changed since then. Television is now the dominant medium in basically all of entertainment. And TV isn't just on a TV anymore. It's you can watch it on so many different devices. And TV is in a bit of a renaissance. It's been high quality and it's been well funded. And now if you don't own a television or a laptop or a tablet or a phone, you're basically left out of the cultural conversation completely. So today, we're going to talk about the most binge-worthy TV shows to watch. It's Thursday, September 5th. This is the 2 p.m. Reboot. Let's get it started. You're listening to the 2 p.m. Reboot, and we just started the show off with the song Marquee Moon by Television Feels Like My Birthday. Cool. I appreciate that. That was a great way to start the show for me, because that's one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite albums. However, when the album was released in February 1977, it didn't go over so well. That was definitely one of the clear standout tracks on the album, but it didn't get a lot of radio play in the United States at the time. A couple reasons for that. The band was not really well known outside of New York, where they were kind of heroes, local heroes at least, and they kind of didn't really fit into a neat genre. They weren't quite pop, as you could listen to, especially in the song's vocal delivery. And they weren't quite punk, which was also big at the time. But the interesting song structures and the interesting lyrics definitely made them unique. Unfortunately, Marquee Moon by Television never made the charts in the U.S. However, looking back, it was later hailed as a classic in a number of surveys and very influential. And the UK at the time was way more welcoming. The single that you just listened to charted at number 30, that version, not the 10-minute version on the album. And the band actually made the cover of the New Musical Express, was kind of a big deal. And the critical acclaim for Television was definitely much more robust in Britain, and they must have seen the future, because Television went on to influence a number of bands. So I hope you enjoyed that. You're listening to us live here in the studio in Busan on this Thursday afternoon. Welcome to the program. We're on BEFM 90.5 here in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jeongwon, and Noksan areas. In Seoul, we're on TBS EFM 101.3 FM, and in Gwangju, we're on GGN 98.7 FM. And thanks a lot for joining us. Wherever you might be today, I appreciate it. You might be joining us on YouTube as well. I see some people in there. Hello to you. Thanks for joining. If you want to join us there, all you have to do is go to youtube.com, search BEFM or Busan영어방송. I should let you know, maybe you know this already, if you were trying to listen to Marquee Moon, we do have to mute the songs. We can't stream those live due to a music copyright issue, so I apologize for the inconvenience there. But the songs and the show are completely uninterrupted on FM radio, and we do have our very own smartphone app. If you go to the App Store on your phone and just search BEFM or 부산영어방송, you can download the app right there and take us wherever you go. You could put us in your pocket and go for a walk, and, maybe headphones is a good idea. But you can listen to us wherever you go, and you can also log in and send us some messages throughout the show if you like. And there's one message I should let you know. The 2 p.m. Reboot will air until Sunday, September 8th. That means the 2 p.m. Reboot will end in a couple of days here. Actually, our last live show is going to be tomorrow. Wow, already. This week has flown by. And beginning on September 9th, there'll be a new program launching as part of BEFM's fall season. And definitely check that out. It's going to be very cool. So, yeah, just to let you know, I saw some messages in the NoTube chat there as well. Thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate following Warren Buffett's diet. I did that as well today. I didn't go cola. I did a milkshake instead, and I am feeling it. So yes, thanks so much for all the love and the comments. I appreciate it. But, all good things must come to an end, right? As George Harrison said, all things must pass. And I definitely appreciate you spending your summer with me. This has been a fantastic summer for me as well. But the good things will continue starting September 9th. So definitely stick around for that. And there's a lot to stick around for on the show today as well. I mean, come on, we've got a lot to do. In hour number 1, we've got Hot Off the Press coming up first. We will play 2 songs that have recently been released. And I'll give you some background information about the songs and the artist behind them. And then also, because today's Thursday, Michael will be coming in for Parenting 101 for our final Parenting 101. Oh no, the tears are welling. But that's going to be a good time. Regardless, we'll definitely have some laughs. We'll have some fun. Michael always makes it entertaining for me. So I'll be looking forward to that for sure. In hour number 2, we're going to have our daily list. And I'm looking forward to this as well, because I don't know about you, but I feel out of touch. I felt more in touch listening to Television, the band, than actually knowing what's going on with current television. So today's daily list is going to be most binge-worthy TV shows to watch. I am definitely out of the loop, so I'm going to update myself and you as well. And perhaps you might have some recommendations as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll get a chance to watch some of these shows sometime in the near future. Also, because today is Thursday, we're going to have Inside Korea. And this is where we look at a couple news items of news or things about culture, things about events going on here in Korea, just to kind of keep up to date on what's going on in the country we live in. And actually, there's a lot about OTT stuff, right? So streaming as well today. We'll talk about that, things that are happening here in Korea. And I will be checking your messages throughout the show. Looks like the NoTube chat's blown up there a little bit. I'll have to take my time and read that. I'll try to keep up with you. I have a question of the day for you. And this is it. What programs have you binge-watched recently? 최근에 몰아보기를 한 프로그램은 무엇인가요? Did you catch that? I'm going to say that again. 최근에 몰아보기를 한 프로그램은 무엇인가요? I think that felt a little bit better. I had to think about it. I was like looking at my phone. I don't typically watch them on my phone, but my streaming service is connected to that and my laptop. I don't even watch a TV. We have a TV at home, but we don't even turn it on. I typically watch stuff on my laptop, which is big enough for me. It's fine. It'll work. And I just came up with like a short list of things. I'll give you a couple every now and then. One that the most recent binge watch for me was A Gentleman in Moscow. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think it's like a limited series. So it's only like one season. You could knock it out in a weekend. So if you got a suggestion, send me your answer here at 샵9050 or pound 9050 for 101. You could reach us for free if you use Kakao Talk and just search BEFM or 부산영어방송. Then just add us and then you can send us messages that way. And as I already mentioned, you can download a smartphone app that we have created for you. If you search BEFM or 부산영어방송, just go to your app store on your phone. Doesn't matter which app store, doesn't matter which phone. Download that. After you log in, you can comment that way. And I see a bunch of comments on NoTube as well. So same deal. Those are free too. So wow, a lot going on there. I'll take my time and read. All right. I'll get back to you for sure. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Señorita by Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, and we'll be back with Hot Off the Press. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard the song Senorita by Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, and that was Muy Bonita. But now it is time for Hot Off the Press. We do this every day, Monday through Friday. We bring you 2 songs that have recently been released, give you some background information on the songs and the artists, and we always try to pick songs that we think you're going to like, and today's no exception. We do that every day. Our first song today is All Night by Rehab. It's R3hab, Rehab, and Sophie and the Giants. These are both multi-platinum artists, and Rehab and Sophie and the Giants have joined forces to release this new single, and it's a vibrant, disco-infused dance pop track that brings a fresh and uplifting sound to the music scene, and it's called All Night. So I imagine they intend you to listen to it all night. The song is yet another modern remake of Blues. Actually, I was confusing with another song. Okay, it's a modern remake of the song All Rise by Blue, which was a 2001 platinum hit, and it blends Sophie's nostalgic pop vocals with Rehab's dynamic production, and the idea is to create an infectious anthem that encourages listeners to let go and enjoy life to the fullest. Let's see if it works on you. It might. It just might do that. Our second song today is Indestructible by Andy C. and Becky Hill. The drum and bass legend Andy C. and 2-time Brit Award winner Becky Hill have also joined forces, and they've tried to create a track that has been setting dance floors and festival stages on fire, so looks like success thus far. This new collaboration, Indestructible, has finally dropped. It's everything we needed. You know, it's the end of the summer. It's the time. You need that kind of pumper, right? The buzz around Indestructible has been building for years, ever since Andy C. teased an early version of the track in one of his sets almost 10 years ago. Wow, it's quite a while to wait for this, but now it's got an official release, and it's clear, and you can definitely be the judge for yourself. The wait was more than worth it. This year has seen Becky Hill touring nonstop, and for those lucky enough to bag tickets to see one of her shows, Indestructible promises to be a highlight of the set. So check out our 2 songs for today. All Night by Rehab and Sophie and the Giants, followed by Indestructible by Andy C. and Becky Hill. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot, and that was Indestructible by Andy C. and Becky Hill. And before that, you heard All Night by Rehab and Sophie and the Giants. Those are our two songs for Hot Off the Press for today. And I got some messages for the question of the day. Cool. I think I'm going to get tons of advice. I was just chatting with Michael about this as well. I think he's going to have some suggestions about things to binge watch. My question of the day, what programs have you binge watched recently? 최근에 몰아보기를 한 프로그램은 무엇인가요? And let's see. I got from 펭수 아빠 on the NoTube there. Let's see here. Recent binge watch is a drama called Cinderella at 2 a.m. I believe the Korean title is 새벽 2시에 Cinderella. And it's like a fantasy drama about a relationship between a second-generation conglomerate, 제발, and an ordinary woman. Is that illegal? Oh my goodness, is that possible? Cool. All right, that sounds like a little bit of a romantic kind of fantasy drama, yeah? Cool, very cool. So thanks for the recommendation there. And I will check out other messages as well. There's a bunch in there. I saw mentions of Better Call Saul from Ponim. I highly recommend that. I enjoyed that even more than Breaking Bad, but I also saw Breaking Bad mentioned there. Both fantastic shows. You're going to need some time to binge watch those, though. Those I don't know. Better Call Saul was maybe 6 seasons? And then Breaking Bad was even more than that, was it? It was, yeah. Michael's giving me he knows way more than I do about anything TV or film related. So I'll be asking him in a moment about his opinion. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Michael and Parenting 101. All right, welcome back. We are here with Michael and Parenting 101. Shall we jump right into the TV? You want to do it? I see it.
This is TV 101.
Yeah, TV 101.
It's really I'm more comfortable with that than talking about being a dad.
Because you know what? Your opinion about TV, people might disagree with, but they're not going to judge you in the same way they judge your parenting opinions, right?
Right, that's right, yeah. It's a lot more controversial when you give advice about parenting, that's true.
Right, and they're just making all kinds of assumptions, whereas if I tell you I've been binge watching Star Trek The Next Generation, you'd be like, nerdo, and move on. Which I have been doing.
Yeah, I am judging you also for that.
Can't help it.
Yeah, the one I've been watching is Dexter.
Okay, and there's a new version of that, right?
Yeah, there are a couple. So
Okay.
there's Dexter Resurrection is coming out.
Oh goodness.
And then it was going to be a season 2 of the newer Dexter, where his son is a grown man now. Harrison is a grown man.
Harrison Ford? No. Can you imagine Harrison Ford's playing that role?
Yeah, Daddy. Yeah, and then so there has been some things, but the original series, it was 8 seasons long. I think it was 2006 to 2013. So I'm going through the original one because I was not in for the actual airing of that at the time. So
you're watching the original one now?
I'm in season 7. I just finished the last episode of that. So last season is coming right up. So that's really binge worthy because it's very good show.
Yeah.
8 seasons. And that's the kind of binging you can really do when you missed something that everybody liked. Better Call Saul is an excellent example.
For sure.
And if that's something that's just waiting for you there and you haven't actually seen any of it, whenever you have a little bit of time, start that thing and you'll go to the very end. It's wonderful.
Yeah, basically block off 3 weekends of your life. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. You can't even do it in that little time, to be honest. But do you think, if you want to go into Better Call Saul, do you need to watch Breaking Bad first, or you don't?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you do. Because
I think it is cool if you do.
Yeah. You'll know more. But then if you miss these little Easter eggs, you're missing 5% of what's good about the show. So
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. So you can give yourself an extra little 5%. But that's going back to start Breaking Bad, you're also committing a lot of hours. So that would be great if you had that time.
Yeah.
That'll be the right way to do it.
But nobody's got that time, right?
Nobody's got that time.
I wish I had that time. Oh.
Yeah.
Shall we get out of TV 101?
Let's get into parenting right now. So
all right, let's do it.
Our parenting topic today, it's about an activity enjoyed by children and adults.
TV?
Kind of.
Oh, really?
It is under the umbrella.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And something that we often do without even thinking about doing it.
That sounds like TV.
TV also fits that. And it could be educational.
TV, no.
TV's not.
No, it's not. They try to pretend it is. It's not.
Yeah, it's never educational, and and people are doing it right now, maybe to watch us, and that is just something in the two-word buzz phrase: screen time. Screen time.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be like traditional TV programming.
Yes,
just anything where you're watching a screen.
A screen. So phones, tablets, TVs, computer monitors, all of these things. Hey, you're doing it right now. Hi.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Yes,
it's very educational right here.
And so my first question to you, Casey, is as a father, do you allow screen time? And further, do you set limits about the amount of screen time that your children can have in one day?
My instinct was to say no right off the bat, but it's not true. We do allow screen time occasionally, and Sean's listening out here, so I got to be careful how I say this.
It's like, screen time tonight, Dad.
Yes. You do allow it? Starting today? Dad said.
I can attest to the fact that his son was reading a book, so.
Yes. I mean, and I'm serious about, like, I've heard from so many parents who kind of regret letting their kids have screen time too early.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't do it, I did it, and then they just never looked at books again. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Would you agree?
Oh, no, I would agree that once you start the screen time, it's a little bit like an addiction that it's hard to wane off.
Right.
And so, yeah, it is better just not to start kind of hold out as long as you possibly can.
Yeah.
I do think there's a period of time where you become the weirdo and you're trying a little too hard. And so everybody else is like, so the other kids you're actually losing out on a little bit of social interaction possibly because they're like, hey, do you have this character in blah blah game?
Right.
And you're just like, I've never had a screen in my life.
Yeah.
And they're like, gosh, all you do is read?
What's wrong with your parents?
Yeah, so sorry for you.
Right.
And at some point it does maybe detract a little bit, but it sounds like you're pretty extreme with the limits.
Fairly. Yeah, we would try to discourage. I'm getting observation right now. I'm gonna be careful how I say this. But yes, we do put limits on how much the kids can watch, and it's only certain times. Like, when we're very too busy. Basically, we're too busy at home.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really common answer. Is that it's usually desperation time.
Yes.
But then once you kind of rely on that, then there's a lot of days that are desperate for a parent. So your desperation time, they can grow into 4 or 5 hours a day very easily. And you're just saying, like, I got to go to work, screen time. Right. I need 30 minutes of quiet, screen time.
That's how my parents raised me. I got to go to work. Watch this.
Yeah, it's like
Three's Company.
Screen time's been around for a long time.
Yes.
And
That's how I was raised. I was raised by the Incredible Hulk and Three's Company.
Right. So anyway, there are multiple sides to the debate. So I did want to come in here and present multiple sides. I think that we have already brought up more like the kind of anti-screen time side, like wait as long as you can, and it can be damaging. But that's not the only side of the debate. So I'm going to bring in there's a lot of studies on these things, and it's one of these things that's so studied that you could find a study to support whatever opinion you have.
And that's exactly what happens when you search the internet.
Yes.
Right? Like when you're looking for answers for this, you will find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful about that.
The first time you type it in, it goes like screen time good for kids ? And it's like no. And you're like, that's not a good question.
Right. That's the wrong question.
Does screen time make kids mentally challenged? And then you go like, oh no. Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay, then it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay then. So I'm going to start with some of the claims and studies from the kind of anti side. Okay. And this is the bad news part.
Yes.
So there's many studies, but according to a study of 7,097 children, which was published last year in the journal JAMA Pediatrics, having anywhere from 1 to 4 hours of screen time per day at age 1. We're talking about very young children.
Okay.
So 1 year old. It's linked to higher risks of developmental delays in communication, fine motor skills, so things like walking around, picking things up, balancing, problem solving, and also personal and social skills by just age 2.
I have a question. I'm not trying to debunk the theory here, but I've seen like a 2-year-old carry a tablet, which is rather large for a 2-year-old, and be able to walk and not run into things at the same time.
Right.
So I don't know. Does it really inhibit fine motor skills?
Right. So
but I agree with this.
Yeah. No. This study it went over years. So they took.
That's my personal opinion, not a professional opinion.
Yeah, and then I'll be a little bit more specific about what they found. They had 2 groups of babies. That one group was 4 hours of screen time per day, up to 4 hours. Up to 4 hours. It sounds like a lot, right? You're shocked right now, but they actually had another group that was 4 or more hours a day.
So the 4 was like the low end of the spectrum.
Yeah, so like 0 to 4 was one side, and then more than 4 was the other side.
And we're talking about babies.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Okay, I feel like a good parent right now.
Yeah, right now you feel so good about yourself.
Yeah, I'm the best.
All right, so by age 2, the first group, so 0 to 4, it was up to 3 times more likely to experience developmental delays. And the second group was around 5 times more likely to experience some delays.
Wow.
And then, so the first group is like, at least there's at least like 1 hour of screen time happening. So it's not a 0.
Right, okay.
So you are obviously making the delays more likely by giving more screen time if it's a 1-year-old. And then the thing that persisted the most out of those things that I talked about was communication and problem solving. The motor skills, they kind of would catch up by age 4.
Okay.
But they saw that communication skills would not really catch up even by age 4 for the ones who had screen time very early on. So, the communication was the problem.
There's something interesting about that because I see when I'm at like the, let's say the doctor's office in the waiting room, right? I see a lot of kids. There's already a TV there that kids could be watching, but I've seen kids with like a tablet or a phone, and they're often watching perhaps contents that is not their first language. And I think the parents kind of assuming, this is to help them learn English, for example.
Right.
And it turns out, according to these studies, it might do the opposite.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you said like a waiting room of a dentist or a doctor or something, but restaurants.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like restaurants, because it's like, the kid's done eating or the kid wants to stand up, run around, cause trouble. And it's just like, watch this no tube thing.
Yeah, right.
And then so it's just so we can finish eating and enjoy the rest of our meal.
Right.
But that's the kind of time. And the idea here is that when you're watching these things, you're saying that they're like it because the parents like it because they're getting a lot of input from like other languges. They're learning English and being exposed to English. So that's great. But then they're not speaking. They're not talking back.
Right.
And what they're saying is that the reason the communication is lagging behind is not from the input, it's from the output side of things. And
Which is why you need people, I guess. Do we need each other?
You need a face on the other side to talk to.
Oh, so we can't just like phone in on this, so like screen to screen, it wouldn't be the same. It would be lamer, right? I do like doing this in person.
Yes.
There's an element to actually being with a person.
And even that would be different, right? So, because there's different kinds of screen time. That's another thing that happens with these studies is that you lump things in, and there's a difference between watching a program for 30 minutes and having a video call with a family member.
Right.
That's a very different.
Sure.
So there's more active, and then you're talking back. So, a video call with somebody would be a more communicative use of a screen. And we can't just put those two things together, but I'm mostly talking about...
It's the same at my house. But basically, my mom asks the kids questions and they don't answer. So it's basically the same. Hey, how are you guys doing? Silence.
Yeah. So anyway, like the sitting and watching thing is also, you said, I've seen kids who are very good at holding the device and walking and all this thing. But that's also actually because you're sitting and watching instead of interacting with the world around you and understanding the weight of things and what it feels like to be hit by certain things and roll around. Yeah. So you're not kind of moving with your body. That explains the early motor skills problem.
Yeah, because it's a very limited range of movement.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And focus is not on what you're doing. It's focused on that screen.
Right.
That screen. I tell you what. Let's take a quick song break. I can't believe we're going to get to listen to... I'm enjoying the playlist today. I'm loving it. Thanks, PD. We're going to take a quick song break, listen to Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones for a little quick fix, and then we'll be back with Parenting 101. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. That was Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones, and that is what my kids hear every morning when we're trying to get out of the house. Hey, ho, let's go. So welcome back to Parenting 101 with Michael. I got a little chuckle. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Man. I appreciate that.
Funny guy.
Hey, I try. Funny guy. Very funny.
Yeah.
Do I amuse you? Is that what you said? So we're talking about screen time and how screen time in general seems to be a bad thing. So we've only heard mostly the negative about it. And I think we're kind of in the same boat. We kind of agree with it, yeah?
Yeah, I'm with you. It sounds a little bit like I might be a little more relaxed than you are about the screen time. Hey, listen, I need that time for myself too.
Actually, hippies hate screen time. That's the
wrong way.
Yeah, no.
But I do want to present to you a little bit of a different side. There is no side that says give your kids as much screen time as possible.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
That's not going to come from me.
No one's saying that.
10 hours a day is better than 8 hours a day. It's not. There is nothing out there that it pretty much universally understood that is bad.
Right.
But the idea here that we beat ourselves up, like we're kind of talking about for parents how they feel about the screen time.
Right.
There was a recent research by Dr. Nathan Walter and two co-authors that looked at the guilt parents feel over letting their kids use screens more than they think that they should, which for a lot of parents, more than they think they should is like at all.
Right.
Because every time you give the screen, you're like, oh, this is me taking a break. I feel bad about this.
Right.
I know this is not good for my kid, but I just got to do it because I'm tired. So Dr. Walter concluded that screen time has almost no effect on parent-child relationship satisfaction, meaning how the parents and the kids feel about each other,
right.
Which has been shown to be associated with health and other important factors. Yet parents still feel very guilty when their kids use screens. So to quote Dr. Walter specifically here, the prescription is not so much about how much screen you should or shouldn't let your kids use, but rather how we should talk about screen time. Let's not stigmatize kids who use screens. Let's not.
Oh, man.
So you got to stop doing that all the time.
There goes my weekend hobby.
You TV watcher.
Right.
As the kid walks by. And let's also not stigmatize parents who allow their kids to use screens.
Now, that's going to be hard to break that habit.
Yeah. You walk into the restaurant and you go,
Judge.
Screen. Bad parent right there. You
judging.
Stop doing this. And to put it simply, parents who blame themselves for allowing the use of screens are placing extra stress on themselves that is not really helpful in making you a better parent. So it's kind of like the two things make the situation that's already not great worse.
Right. You're just wasting negative energy. Oh, I'm going hippie now. Hold on. You're focusing your negative vibes in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Go positive, right?
It's kind of like the battles that you choose to fight,
Right. Is it worth it to feel upset about this when, clearly there maybe could be other things that you could do with your children and be more active, but for whatever reason you can't. You've got some kind of work you got to catch up on, or you got to make dinner.
Yep.
That's a common one for me. I got to get dinner done by this time, otherwise it's too late to eat.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. Paw Patrol.
And then so here's an example of the alternative is I got to make dinner.
Right.
I need this 30 minutes and I can't interact with you right now.
Right.
And then it's like, but you still can't watch a screen. And then it's like every 2 minutes something is happening. Like you hear something drop on the floor and then it's, hey, what did I say?
Yeah, right.
And then so if you're doing this and you're cooking and now you're yelling at your kid,
right.
Was that better than 20 minutes of screen time?
Yes. I clearly didn't learn anything today.
Yeah, but it is a question.
Yes.
There are alternatives here, and the screen is sometimes somewhat useful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and maybe you don't need to beat yourself up so badly about it. What's more, Dr. Walter also points out that most of the evidence on screen use is correlational, not necessarily causal. This is when I get with the big vocabulary for you here.
I hate these words. Can you explain that? Because I feel kind of dumb.
Yeah, so the correlational means that two things might go up in frequency at the same time, but that doesn't mean that one went up because of the other one also going up. So screen time might increase and obesity in children might also go up and increase,
right?
But that doesn't mean screen time is causing obesity. The two things are just possibly happening at the same time, and there are other factors affecting everything. For example, one factor that might affect this situation is that parents might be busier there might be more working parents, like where both parents are working.
Right.
So there might be more kids with screens because their parents are working. And then they're also sitting around more after school because of that situation and kind of snacking and this kind of thing. And obesity is going up. But it doesn't mean like the two things are directly causing each other.
Because screens are not edible. Right? Is that the point?
Yes.
Screens are not made of sugar.
That's not a bad idea, though, right?
We might have given somebody that idea, though.
Don't-
Screens should not be made of sugar.
Don't broadcast these
I know.
things.
Warren Buffett's
Casey.
like, I just had a great idea.
Edible screens.
Yes, edible screens.
Yeah. So obviously, I think the side that you're on, so I presented these two sides. The side that you're on is kind of limit the screen time as much as you can. Fight the fight.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of like more of an instinctual feeling than I haven't done as much research as you have. I'm sad to say, as a terrible parent, but like it's just kind of like a lot of gut feeling that I have, and a lot of just remembering my childhood. Like I like Columbo. I saw Columbo mentioned in the NawTube chat. I watched Columbo when I was like 5, 6 years old. What am I doing watching Columbo at 5 years old? I couldn't follow that plot.
I have the same feeling about Golden Girls.
Oh yes,
I've seen so many episodes of Golden Girls,
Yes.
and now I look back and that's not a show for kids. Why?
No. So, and I guess we probably grew up roughly around the same time. I think I'm slightly a little bit older than you.
Yeah,
perhaps.
maybe a year.
But we both watched Golden Girls, obviously, and Three's Company as well.
Yes.
These were not created for kids.
No.
And it was like at that time, my grandma was busy. I was staying at my grandma's house, and she was like, "All right, here you go." And it was okay. I grew up okay. I have an unbelievable recollection of the Incredible Hulk original series that I could probably take to like a pub trivia.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it didn't do me any really value.
Right.
However, at the same time, I did watch a lot of Sesame Street.
Yep.
And perhaps there was some educational benefit
Some
in that,
educational stuff there, yeah. But
So if
again,
you're
not
careful-
talking. You're not talking to your TV.
I did. I talked to Snuffleupagus. I was like,
That's
where
true.
are you? What are you? I don't understand your character. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Largely,
Yeah.
it was just like passive, input and a lot of not a lot of language development, perhaps. But still, the count taught me how to count.
That's true. And there are a lot of TV programs that actually ask your children to speak, too.
Right? Yeah, especially
These days.
Yes.
Right? They have that 10 seconds where, can you see where the
Yep.
pencils are hidden? And then
Yeah.
say something. And then use like a countdown. So they're trying to make it more active. I do actually have, if anybody out there would like to limit their child's screen time and you're having a hard time doing it,
Yeah.
I do have an answer from Dr. Jason Nagata about what is the most effective thing you can do to limit your child's screen time. Would you like to hear that?
It doesn't involve destroying the screen.
It doesn't. Or eating it.
That's not far. Eating
There's
it.
also no eating of the screen.
Oh, I want to eat that screen. Okay, what is it then?
So the answer is you have to put down your phone.
Mine?
Yes,
No.
you as a parent.
No.
Have to turn off your phone and put it down because Dr. Jason Nagata found that the biggest correlation was between parent screen time and child screen time. The more
Not
parent
causality.
screen time there was, the more child screen time there was. And basically any time a parent was on some kind of device, then it would encourage the child to do the same. And it's not just the modeling, because they are like looking and saying like, okay, dad's on his phone.
Yep,
that looks
that's
like
part of it.
fun. But they are kind of like, yeah, do what dad does. But also just the boredom of it, right? Like, so there's no, you're not interacting with me. We're not playing cards.
Right.
I'm bored. You're entertaining yourself right now on that device, that thing.
I need stock quotes.
And
Be
yeah,
quiet.
I'm going to do the same thing. It looks like fun.
Right. No, yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, so you gotta put it down. And then the second thing is that if you want to know what they should do instead, the experts kind of say that kids playing and just being bored and finding ways to play is the very best educational activity. And so there's the value of there's a little bit of short-term pain from the boredom.
Yep.
Of like nothing is on, nothing is playing, you're not hearing anything, there's no stimulus. And then the brain is like, but I'm bored, I want something. And then you have to create the something. And that's when they start walking around and like, I'm going to make a castle out of these weird things in my living room.
Always toilet paper at my house.
Yeah, that kind of thing, making forts and, going in the kitchen, making a big mess, trying to cook something and ruining it.
Right.
Like all of those things are the things that experts say are the best developmental activities for children. So it's hard to be like the prison guard and enforce the boredom in the beginning.
Right.
But it's worth it kind of long term, and then they'll start to come up with ways of entertaining themselves with their imaginations.
I've totally witnessed this at my house. Yeah. Like if the kids are bored, it's not for long.
Yeah.
And if screen time is not given as an option, like if it's not even mentioned or brought up or nobody even thinks about it, they'll find something to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll be, we've got tons of books always around, so sometimes it'll be just a book is grabbed, or sometimes the books will be used to build a staircase to heaven that doesn't quite make it and collapses.
Yeah.
Somebody falls and gets hurt, but like you say, they're being creative.
Yes.
Yes, and then toilet paper everywhere.
Yeah, you get those little boo-boos, but that's how you learn about how to use your body. That's those motor skills. So
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I keep hitting this mic. Not this one. This one, yeah. Yeah.
Headbutt that mic.
I try not to, but I keep running into it every now and then. Well, Michael, this has been a fascinating discussion. I actually learned a lot, and I've really appreciated this segment. Thanks for coming in throughout the 2 p.m. reboot this summer. And you want to give a little preview of what you're going to be doing next?
I am going to be doing a movie segment
on
a show. So that's, like we said before, the wheelhouse is there.
Yes.
It's an exciting time for movies out there because the film festival will be October 3rd through 11th.
You going?
I am going.
I'll see you there. I'll try.
And yes, I will try my. I hope to see you there and watch a couple things.
Watch my one movie.
Yeah, right. We usually meet up for one movie.
Right.
But so yeah, on the show there'll be some preview stuff. It'll be happening in September. The kind of build up to the festival. So there's that. There's also a weekend show Saturday in the Senate Concerto. We'll go over some Biff preview shows as well.
Awesome. Cool. So a lot to look forward to. Michael's not going anywhere. So he'll definitely be hearing his voice here on BFM in the new season starting September 9th, next Monday. So thanks again for coming in today. It was a lot of fun for me. And we're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to another classic. Oh, man. This is I'll Be Around by the Spinners. Enjoy the song. And we'll be back at 3 p.m.
BEFM 부산영어방송.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전 기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, BNK 부산은행과 함께합니다.
New season, new shows. BEFM's new season starts on September 9th. We have new voices coming your way,
From Monday through Sunday, every day from noon to 2 p.m. Join me, Nick Greenwood, for Midday Mates. Have some fun with your best mates in the afternoon with Midday Mates, filled with useful information and English learning.
Busan 아지매 박성은 will be in charge of your daily English every day at 10:55 a.m. and 3:55 p.m. with Today's English. Tune in to BEFM News every day at 11 a.m., 12 noon, 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. with your trusty BEFM news announcers. The Chinese language program Busan is on Monday through Friday, and Hello Vietnam on Saturdays and Sundays, both from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, filling the airwaves with great contents. Don't forget, you can watch all of this too on our YouTube channel, so be sure to catch us on YouTube. Mark your calendars for September 9th for BEFM's new season, dedicated to bringing you the most informative and entertaining programming as always.
The time is now 3 o'clock.
Let's take our time.
You're listening to the 2 p.m. Reboot, and that song was Versace on the Floor by Bruno Mars to kick off the second hour of the show, and I was highly entertained by the storytelling in that song, for sure. And that song was actually from the album 24K Magic back in 2016. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart and produced 5 singles. That's pretty impressive these days, right? 24K Magic was one of those. That's What I Like, Finesse, were all commercially successful. Well, the song you just heard, Versace on the Floor, charted moderately. And another song, Chunky, had a limited release. So I guess Chunky didn't go over so good. That's too bad. I'm curious what Chunky's about. Yes, I had no idea Bruno Mars and what kind of lyrics he had going on until today. I'm very fascinated. Several critics said that 24K Magic was crafted from elements of R&B, funk, pop, and new jack swing. The song you just heard, I could definitely hear the R&B influence in there for sure. Mars said he was inspired to create an album on which he could capture the sound of 1990s R&B that he listened and danced to during his childhood. I think he might have missed the mark there. I was feeling like 1980s a little bit there. But he said he wanted to make people dance and have the same enjoyment he had. I think he succeeded there for sure. Welcome to the program, everybody. You're listening to us on BEFM 90.5 here in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jeongwon, and Noksan areas. In Seoul, we're on TBS EFM 101.3 FM, and in Gwangju, we're on 98.7 FM GGN. And thank you so much for joining us wherever you might be at today. I see people joining me in the NawTube chat. There's so much going on about like 1980s TV. So I'm enjoying that as well. However, I should let you know, this is going to be our last Thursday 2 p.m. Reboot. And in fact, this is the last week of the show. We will have our final airing on Sunday, September 8th, which means our last live show is tomorrow. But look forward to that. There's going to be a cool Friday spotlight. It's going to be featuring Kang Nyu and Fat Hamster. So I'm really excited about that. And of course, we have a good entertaining show for you every day. However, just because the show's going away after this week doesn't mean you shouldn't stay tuned, because September 9th, BEFM is going to have a whole new fall season for you. And if you just enjoyed the segment I had with Michael here, Parenting 101, right before the 3 p.m. break there, Michael's going to be continuing on a show called Midday Mate, and he'll be doing a segment on movies there. He knows so much about movies, it frightens me. I don't know how he knows so much. So that'll be really entertaining for sure. He educates me every Busan International Film Festival. He tells me what to watch, what not to watch. And I usually don't listen, but I like his advice anyway. Well, we've got a lot coming up in the show for you in hour number 2. First up, we're going to have our daily list, and we're going to feature the most binge-worthy TV shows to watch. We talked about a few already with Michael as well. And it seems like Jaebong Lee in the NawTube chat is saying that you should not binge watch General Hospital. I think I'm going to second that. Is that like soap opera set in a hospital? It's like not even like a good drama. If that's the one I'm thinking of, yeah, that sounds like a terrible way to spend your time. And I probably watched that in my childhood as well. Very inappropriate for young children, I'm sure, right? So we're going to talk about the opposite of General Hospital. We're going to talk about things you should actually binge watch. And in Inside Korea, following that, we're going to talk about 2 stories today, just to kind of keep us up to date on what's happening in the country here. And one of those things will be about a trend in streaming platforms here in Korea. So very cool and related. And also, we're going to have our perfect playlist at the end of the show. See, I just headbutted that mic again. It's actually not the mic, it's the pop filter, as we call it in the biz. The perfect playlist, however, will feature at the end of the show. We have 2 songs on the theme of songs to motivate you for the new semester. So, yes, if you need help like I do, that'll be my therapy, because this week has been a tough one to get started with this new semester for sure. And if you want to reach me and let me know your question or your answer to the question of the day, the question is, what programs have you binge watched recently? 최근에 몰아보기를 한 프로그램은 무엇인가요? And I had an answer I wanted to share from Choi Hisuk-nim, who says, these days I enjoy watching a TV program called 나는 Solo, which divorced men and women meet and look for a new partner. Oh, okay, cool. I'm assuming that's like a reality show, or is it like a fictional show? It sounds like a reality type show where it's like actual real people who meet up. Now PD gives me the go-ahead. That was a good guess on my part. Yeah, it sounds like, are they famous people or they're like unknown? Oh, that's cooler. Yeah, not famous. I like that better. Sometimes it's a little overdone with the famous people. So I like it when it's people who are real people. So cool. All right, I might have to check that out. So Nanan Solo is that one. And I saw another recommendation. Let's see. Not Columbo. Doesn't seem like that was recommended. No. Okay. Jogum Tongnim said, I recently binge watched some German criminal comedy dramas. I love them because they are not violent and sometimes silly. And this is in contrast to, we were talking about Breaking Bad. Jogum Tong said, Breaking Bad was enjoyable, but at some point it got a little too graphic. Understood. Yeah, Breaking Bad and probably Better Call Saul for that matter as well. They might get a little bit extreme. So they're very excellent, high-quality shows, but they might not be for everybody for sure. So Jogum Tong recommending German criminal comedy dramas. Interesting. A whole genre I've never thought about. If you got a name for a show, let me know, and I'll share that as well. Cool. If you want to reach us here, you can message us at 샵9050 or pound 9050 for 101. You can reach us for free on Kakao Talk if you search BEFM or 부산영어방송. Add us and send us messages that way. Also, you can download our very own smartphone app if you go to the App Store on your phone. Just search BEFM or, as you guessed it, 부산영어방송. And you can download the app there, log in, send us some messages, or you can message us on the NoTube chat as well. And that's free for you too. So very cool. You got many options there. Feel free to send me a message. I'll be happy to pass it on as a recommendation for a TV show to binge watch. We're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Love Like This by Faith Evans, and we'll be back with today's Daily List. You're listening to the 2 p.m. Reboot, and that last song was Love Like This by Faith Evans. And now it is time for our today's daily list. And I do want to, before we jump into it, I'd give an update on the German crime comedy dramas. So I got to go a list of quick names here I'll share with you. So if you're interested in German crime comedies, we've got Tatort Münster, Wilsberg, Soko Wismar, and Die Rosenheim Cops. How did I do with my German pronunciation there? I apologize to anybody who speaks German, but I wanted to do my best for you there. So that's a recommendation for German crime comedy. But right now, we're going to get into the most binge-worthy TV shows to watch at the moment. So these are things that are going on right now, and I am behind on all of these. I'm familiar with a lot of them, but I haven't seen not even one of them. So number one on the list is actually The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. This has been going on since 2022 and is continuing right now. The rating on it is TV 14, so, maybe not for the young'uns. It's a fantasy drama, and basically it's the prequel that brings both new and longtime Lord of the Rings fans to the second age of Middle-earth. If you're familiar with the novels, maybe you understand what that means. It's basically set thousands of years before the events of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogies. And the series basically unveils some pivotal moments that shaped the world that all the fans know and love, and showcases the forging of the great powers, the rise and fall of heroes and villains alike, and much, much more. And the one thing I kept reading about this show is how expensive it is to produce. So it probably looks fantastic. I was looking, see if I could find some pictures of it here. And they've got just like the lame title. But I have heard it's quite the production. And the series primarily introduces new characters, but there are a few familiar faces for fans of the original stories as well, including Elrond, Galadriel, Gil-galad, and Isildur. And those are some, but no more spoilers for you there. So it's actually, the second season is now available. And as a recommendation, you could watch this before you have an annual Lord of the Rings rewatch party this fall, if that's something you do. I don't think I have the time for that myself, but that does sound like quite a thing to do every fall. Number 2 on the list is House of the Dragon, also started in 2022, continuing to the present. No surprise for me, this one is TV mature rated. Definitely not one to watch with the little ones. It's a drama fantasy. If you're not familiar, it's related to the Game of Thrones series. It's basically about the mystical land of Westeros, and set way before Game of Thrones. It's 200 years before the series that became so popular. And it shows basically the history of House Targaryen, which was the people who can ride dragons. Basically, that's those people. It's kind of sounds a lot, some things in common with Game of Thrones. A lot of political intrigue, dramatic power struggles, and dragons. So even more dragons, I imagine, right? And they say it's absolutely binge-worthy. I saw the first season was kind of so-so rated, but apparently through the second season, they've picked it up quite a bit. So this second season has just been recently released, and people are saying it's fantastic. So take a look at it. It's got some breathtaking visuals, complex characters, thrilling battles, and a lot more that you may have loved from the original Game of Thrones series. Number 3 is another one I've heard of, haven't watched yet. 2022 to present. This is called The Bear. And I wasn't even sure what it was about until today. This is also rated mature, so perhaps not for the kids. It's a comedy drama, and it's basically about a cook. I had no idea that's what it's about, but it's led by the talented Jeremy Allen White and Ayo Edebiri, and it's a comedy drama. It follows a top-tier chef nicknamed Carmi, who abandons his career cooking at Michelin-starred restaurants in New York City, returns to his home city of Chicago to take over the family's sandwich shop. Thus, I guess The Bear is a reference to Chicago and sports. It's been applauded for its unique filming style, strong writing, and impeccable performances. And a lot of people say it's kind of a breakout, kind of one that they didn't see coming. So very cool. I like those kinds of shows. Number 4 is one I've heard about for quite a while and haven't had the chance to watch yet. This is Umbrella Academy. It's been going on since 2019 till the present. Another one kind of rated mature, so probably one to watch by yourself or with somebody of age. And this is a drama, fantasy, action, sci-fi all rolled into one. It's got 4 seasons. And this is based on a comic book series written by the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. That right there was like, I would say, what? It's a blend of science fiction, familial drama, historical fiction, dark comedy. It follows the lives of the Umbrella Academy, which is the title of the show, which is a family of adopted children who were all mysteriously born on the same fateful day in 1989 and all possess super abilities. But this is not your typical superhero story. It's got an impeccable cast of characters. It's got storylines that are completely brought to life on the screen from the comics in a good way, which is not easy to pull off. It shows family dynamics, self-discovery, societal oppression, and a whole lot more. And the show's script is darkly hilarious, yet thoughtful, which is nice. And there are some bespoke dance scenes you need to see to believe. So I will probably be checking this one out very soon. Number 5 on the list has been recommended to me for quite a while now from BEF's own Laura McLucky. Outlander has been going on since 2014, and I haven't listened to Laura since that long. So I will finally break down and do it. This is also rated mature. It's a period drama / sci-fi show. It's got 8 seasons. I just saw an announcement, the 8th and perhaps final season's coming up. For 7 seasons, it has kept fans hooked, waiting to see what happens in this World War II / 18th century time-traveling love story. Yeah, very interesting. It's adapted from best-selling novels by Diana Gabaldon. And the show's been applauded for its ability to interweave stories across places and time, also for its talented cast and thoughtful storytelling. With the 7th season, I think, has just finished airing. I think the 8th will be coming up soon, from what I read. The 7th season got around 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's no small feat. So why not jump into it now? You got 8 seasons to look forward to. So get started now. It's especially for fans of historical fiction and or romance. And why not roll those 2 things together, for sure. Cool. We're going to stop there for the moment. We're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to another classic jam. Man, I'm enjoying this. This is You're the First, The Last My Everything by Barry White. And then we'll be back with more of the Daily List.
You and me.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. reboot. That was the smooth sounds of Mr. Barry White with You're the First, the Last, My Everything. And I think that was featured on The Simpsons. I'm pretty sure I recall it on a Simpsons episode. I might be wrong, but that's another TV show you could binge watch. I saw a couple other recommendations. The Acolyte being mentioned. I think a recent like Star Wars related show, right? And I got a compliment on my German pronunciation, so I guess I did fairly well. Dankeschön. And I feel like I just ruined it. So we're back to the daily list. Number 6 on the list is another one I've heard a lot about recently. This is the mayor of Kingstown, and I knew nothing about it, so I assumed it was about Kingston, Jamaica, I guess the way somebody brought it up to me. But that's not what it's about at all. This has been going on for 3 seasons since 2021. It's about Kingstown, Michigan. It's a small town in the United States. The only source of income there comes from the incarceration industry. I guess there's like a local prison there, what basically supports the town. And there are towns like that in the United States. So this is, they say you have to see it to believe it. And it stars Jeremy Renner, a.k.a. Hawkeye, if you're familiar, from the Avengers. And also, I think, what was he like, Jason Bourne Part 2, 2.0 or something like that, right? So currently in the 3rd season, it's a crime thriller that's following the powerful McCluskey family as they attempt to influence and navigate the trials and tribulations of dealing with police, politicians, inmates, guards, and beyond in order to feed the ever-hungry prison industrial complex. Something very unique to American culture there. And apparently this show has a lot of strong character development, tackles a lot of important themes around systemic racism, brutality, corruption. So not for the faint of heart, I imagine. It's definitely maturely rated. But if you're interested in crime dramas like Ozark and things like that, they say, take a look. You're going to enjoy it. Number 7 on the list is one that I've heard about quite a bit as well, but never really piqued my interest. I'm not too big into romance and especially period drama romance, but I'll reconsider. Number 7 is Bridgerton. This is 3 seasons, been going on since 2020. They say it has an impeccable 3rd season. It's based on the also highly bingeable book series by Julia Quinn. Each season of Bridgerton follows one of the Bridgerton siblings as they enter into London's high society. And you get to see all kinds of love triangles, secret rendezvous, family drama, countless balls full of fabulous costumes, and tons of glitz and glamour. Anybody who's into the idea of like romance in kind of a regal atmosphere, this is for you. And they say catch up now because the 3rd season is impeccable. So now's the time to jump on it. There you go. Number 8 on the list is one I've been recommended personally a few times as well. Fargo. Not the movie, but I guess connected to the movie. This TV series has been going on since 2014, and the original film was actually in 1996. And this anthology series was created by Noah Hawley to kind of take off on that original film theme, perhaps, and kind of maybe atmosphere even more so. Each season, you have like a new cast of characters that are involved in a murder investigation somewhere in the Midwest of the U.S., and the seasons take place in different times, but you can kind of get a sense that they're all part of the same universe. And if you do watch closely, you'll see that there are some connections between the stories, one of those being the town of Fargo, North Dakota. And they say this is a perfect binge-watching show, especially if you're looking for crime dramas or anthologies, or if you want something new every season. Number 9 on the list is Yellowstone. This is 5 seasons since 2018. It's a drama. It's a neo-Western. The big name in this one is Kevin Costner. I guess he wanted to go back to the the West, like he's famously known for in that movie. What's that movie? Dances with Wolves. But they say this is actually one of the most popular shows on cable TV. The series follows the Dutton family. They are owners of the largest ranch in Montana at a time in history. And it features kind of their relationship with the bordering native tribe, Yellowstone National Park, commercial developers. So it sounds like a lot of like power struggles. And over the course of the 5 seasons, viewers have really enjoyed the Western atmosphere of Yellowstone. It's a unique setting for sure, but it also touches on themes around the American West, including freedom, power, justice, or lack thereof, and the consequences of justice. So the first part of season 5 was released in November 2022. Sorry, and the second half is slated to be released November 2024. That's quite a split for one season, but I guess production issues, right? So there you go. So I guess now's a good time to catch up on that. Our final one on the list, number 10, is Hacks. This is a drama comedy. 3 seasons, been going on since 2021. And the brand new season premiered at the beginning of May. So it's a heartfelt comedy. It stars the impeccable Jean Smart alongside Hannah Einbinder. And basically it tells the story of an unlikely pair that together form a comedy tour de force. The rest of the industry can't help but notice. Yeah, it's about stand-up comedy. I know what this is. Okay, I've seen this previewed. It looks really funny. And they say throughout the 3 seasons, you could see how the pair's relationship has progressed, and people can't wait to see what happens next between them. Yeah, this one does look to be very funny, actually. And it's produced on a program, or I guess you should say a channel, that is pretty well known for putting out quality comedy material. So there you go. That's going to do it for today's Daily List. We're going to take a quick song break. Oh, cool. I'm loving these jams today. This is The Wait by the band. And after that, we'll be back with Inside Korea. You're listening to the 2 p.m. Reboot, and that last song was The Weight by the band off of their 1968 album. I hope you enjoyed that song as much as I did. And now it is time for Inside Korea. We do this every Wednesday and Thursday. We talk about some news, some events, or some culture, things that are happening here in South Korea. And first up today, we're going to talk about how Seoul is beginning to accept applications for Filipino caregivers on a rolling basis. So Seoul began accepting these applications as part of the country's newly adopted foreign domestic caregiver program, and it's on a rolling basis, as they say, following the withdrawal of some selected families. So the Seoul metropolitan government announced on Tuesday that 142 households were eventually matched with the 100 Filipino domestic caregivers who officially began work on the same day on Tuesday, down from the previously announced 157 households due to some cancellations. Around 80% of the selected households consist of working parents. The remaining households include pregnant mothers, families with at least 3 children, and single-parent families. And as we were talking about during Parenting 101 today, it's often hard to, deal with kids on your own a lot of times. So these are families that are looking for help, basically. Households with a child aged 12 or younger or expecting a baby are eligible to apply for the program at any time. There are 2 mobile applications that could be used, according to the city government. And the decision comes as families prefer to use the system selectively and for varying periods, as their need for domestic care support can change frequently. Thus, the rolling basis. So households can hire caregivers for 4, 6, or 8 hours a day between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on weekdays. And according to an official from the city government, we expect to see more changes and withdrawals in applications from households using the system. The official adds that accepting applications on a rolling basis will be more effective in providing the timely service to households in need. And those receiving services from the Filipino domestic caregivers can cancel their services up to 3 days before they wish to discontinue them. That's an important thing to note, I think. They can adjust their service usage through call centers operated by service providers. And the domestic caregivers arrived in Korea last month, began their first day of work on Tuesday after completing a month-long 160-hour training session that included job training and a Korean language class. And the Seoul City government also released guidelines on the duties of these domestic caregivers on the same day, as there had been some confusion about the tasks they were allowed to perform. So performing duties such as babysitting, simple cleaning using vacuum cleaners, and laundry using washing machines, those are what are allowed to be performed. They are not responsible for elderly care, grocery shopping, hand washing laundry, hand cleaning, ironing, or taking out the garbage. So very clear responsibilities, and that's important to note. Additionally, their duties do not include cleaning windows and verandas or preparing meals for adults. And according to the head of Seoul City Government Women and Family Policy Division, Kim Sun-soon, we encourage households using the service to provide feedback. That feedback and consultations can be made through the call centers operated by the service providers, as well as a consultation channel jointly operated by the Seoul City Government and the Ministry of Employment and Labor. And they say we will actively support the Filipino domestic caregivers so they can perform their caregiving duties on site without issues. So that is going to be interesting to see how that unfolds, and I think we'll be hearing a lot more about the feedback as well. Our second story for today is about the streaming world, and apparently in Korea, 20-somethings spend 70 minutes on OTT platforms per day. And I thought, that sounds kind of low. I expected more. They say media consumption in Korea has shifted from traditional TV broadcasts like terrestrial channels to online video platforms. And notably, younger generations are increasingly favoring short-form videos like shorts, reels, over longer content on online streaming services. According to the 2024 Target report, this trend is based on an online survey of 1,000 men and women aged 15 to 59 living in Seoul, Gyeonggi, and 5 major metropolitan areas. And the survey showed that respondents spend an average of 88 minutes per day watching TV and 59 minutes on OTT services. A significant percentage of teens, 16% of them, and people in their 20s, 19%, reported not using a TV at all. And that is where I fall into. I'm in the same category. Those in their 20s who have more leisure time, they say, spent an average of 70 minutes per day on OTT services. Teens only used OTT for 53 minutes, with 30% stating that they did not watch OTT at all. So that's an interesting trend to me, huh? However, the actual use of TV often involved apps available on smart TVs, as they said. Among 20-somethings, 54% of TV time was spent watching content on OTT on a larger screen, right? So perhaps streamed through the small devices to a larger device. I'm assuming what they mean there. The focus of younger generations, however, is primarily on video content centered around something you might be watching us on right now. Yes, on the NawTube, apparently, teens spend an average of 124 minutes per day on videos there, while those in their 20s spent 127 minutes. So there's your big shift right there. Among these, time spent on short-form content such as shorts, reels, was 64 minutes and 55 minutes respectively. So in other words, viewing habits have changed here significantly. And there's probably going to be more changes to that as well. But as we learned today in Parenting 101, try to limit that screen time, right? No matter what screen it is. Do it for yourself, do it for your kids, right? Okay, and that's going to do it for today's Inside Korea. We're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to another classic, 80s classic this time, Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes, and then we'll be back with today's perfect playlist. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes, and now it is time for today's perfect playlist. We're just going to do one song for you today, but hopefully it will be enough to motivate you for the new semester. And today's song is going to be Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves. I just learned a lot about the song. I didn't know they originally wrote this, actually. I thought it was a cover song. But this song is a great choice to add to any kind of morning commute because it'll add a little extra spring in your step, and it will also help you appreciate the warm glow of the morning sun while it lasts. If you're walking on air, you're feeling pretty good, right? But you know what's even better? Walking on Sunshine. So that's going to be our song for today's perfect playlist, Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard the song Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves from way back in 1985, written by the band's guitarist Kimberly Rue. Interestingly, the rest of the band didn't like the song at first, but they like it now because they made a whole lot of money from that song. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it made you feel a little bit motivated for your new semester. it definitely motivated me to kind of like move around a bit, for sure. I appreciate that. So that's going to have to do it for today's 2 p.m. Reboot. We're out of time. So thank you for joining us again on this Thursday afternoon. Hope you enjoyed it. I have enjoyed all the comments. I'm sorry I didn't get to comment on all of them, but there's a lot of good language lessons people are sharing in the NoTube chat there for sure. I was paying attention. Perhaps I have to study German, it sounds like. I've been your host, Casey McKeever. Thanks for joining. We'll be back tomorrow at 2:05 p.m. for the final live 2 p.m. Reboot. We're going to play one last song for you. This is Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Enjoy and stay tuned for Your Busan.